Nate, and this is Let's Talk Yo-Yo. Today I am reviewing another fixed axle yo-yo, and if you are not aware at this point that there is a fixed axle February contest going on, you need to be. I've already received a few submissions. They're looking awesome. There's gonna be some good competition. I'm very excited. We're about halfway, a little over halfway through the month. And so you need to get on it. So if you are submitting, you need to be submitting your video, sending that via email to me no later than the 29th by 11:59. It cannot be March 1st anymore, all right? So you need to submit that to me. All the rules in the description box here, all right, of this video. And you can check out the original video as well if you are more of a visual person like myself. All right. So today's review is another yo-yo that I received from Glenn over at Spinworthy YoYos. He handcrafts these yo-yos. So the last yo-yo I reviewed was the Knack, which was Kyle Nation's signature yo-yo, and pretty cool. I love that yo-yo. It's becoming very quickly one of my favorites I have a lot of fixed axle yo-yos. One of my other favorite yo-yos was the Orphan by ART. This one is sort of a homage to it. It's not a copy. It's nothing like that, but it is a homage to it. This is the Urchin by Spinworthy. Let's go ahead and talk about it. You know, one thing I really like just the simple, you know, branding marks, literally branding marks of the SW Spinworthy there. I think it's really nice and classy and just simple, but it's very clear that it's like, oh, here we go. I don't know, I like it a lot. So this is the Urchin. It is a non-take apart yo-yo. He does not make any take apart fixed axle yo-yos. And because of that, they're nice and smooth. Now you're gonna see how thin that gap is, all right? So you're gonna see that there is no response, like holes drilled in or anything. It's hard to tell even there, but you might be able to see there. Just the friction of the walls themselves is the response. And I believe the axle here on this one is Walnut. Fairly light, actually. It's a lot lighter than the white oak that I had with the Knack. And so it's really light. So if you like lighter fixed axle yo-yos, you might like this wood here. But it's very light, kind of feels airy almost. But because of the size of it, it's a fairly large diameter yo-yo. I think it's gonna have enough weight and all of that. The walls are super high. Like this is gonna be something killer for stalls. It's just gonna lock right in there. So the high walled shape on the Urchin here and just the thin gap there is just gonna be really consistent, I believe. From the design, you can kind of tell that it's gonna be consistent with the response, which I talked about that with other fixed axle yo-yos I've reviewed. That's, to me, a key point in a solid and a very playable, fun fixed axle. You know, when you're doing stalls after stalls, for instance, and you really just don't have just a really tight bind on it, that can make it or break it for me. Overall, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've had it for a while, so I know it is a lot of fun, but let's go and actually play it and see how it plays on the string. All right. All right, welcome back to the on the string section with the Urchin by Spinworthy YoYos. As I've done before to test response, what I like is I like to be able to do a snap start, no problem. And that one was kind of weird because I got my finger caught in it, but let's try that again. So if you don't know how to do a snap start, I'll show you really quick. It's like snapping your thumbs here, right? And you're gonna grab the yo-yo, bottom thumb right here. But this is a really great way to just quickly wind up a yo-yo, and it looks cool, you look awesome doing it. So holding the yo-yo nice and tight, I oftentimes hold the string kind of taut there, so then it doesn't get wound up weird. Now this yo-yo may be a little bit more challenging if you're brand new to fixed axle yo-yo, because it is a narrower profile. So hitting that, I mean, it's not impossible, and I wouldn't say it's even hard to hit. Probably still my favorite fixed axle trick is ping pong. So that high wall is ideal for, you know, locking in things like kick flips. You're gonna hold that loop in there. Let's try to do something like recaptures. Not a problem with that. So one of the tips there is for a recapture. One of the tips there for a recapture is as it's coming up to hit your finger here of your non-throw hand, and you're going to be a lot more consistent getting that. One thing I have noticed on this yo-yo, because the gap is quite a bit more narrow, is that you need to be careful with your string tension. If you have really, really tight string tension, you're going to end up maybe getting just a little bit more of a snag a lot easier because it twists on itself as it's binding up, and then it kind of locks in the gap. So really be careful with your string tension. You don't want it overly tight. I mean, that's a good tip in general, right? But that tends to just bind up a little bit more from what I've experienced so far with it. This is going to be one of those fixed axle yo-yos that you're just going to want to stall a lot because it feels so good. And things that are going to lock in really quick and that are going to lock in really easy are things like kick flips and so on. I don't know what to do after that. I like this sort of one. So yeah, back of the hand stalls aren't impossible. It's still not as wide ideally for me. I think if I were to do those kind of tricks, if I was making a combo with a lot of back of the hand stalls and that kind of stuff, I probably wouldn't gravitate to this yo-yo. I'd probably gravitate towards something more like the Knack or something else from them. But it's still the capability of that. It's not impossible. Maybe it's actually a little bit more challenging, so that you might want to have that challenge. But yeah, I think the best thing going for this yo-yo, and that's really just kind of great, is just the really consistent response. It's really nice and tight. It's just a fun yo-yo to play. That's gonna do it for my review of the Urchin by Spinworthy YoYos. And as usual, good day and good yo-yo.